used to love it when people would read to me. So I was given on my birthday by a dear friend, Gloria Field, encouraged by many people, but mainly inspired by her to begin to write. And the intention that I have is when I speak, when I write, it's like a flow, because I actually don't have a really organized mind. So I tend to be an in the moment person. So what I'd like to do is just read what I wrote today. And it's a little bit like a sermon. I do actually have some good memories listening to really great talks. I love to listen to podcasts, and so what I do, mainly because I miss so many of you and hopefully we'll be reconnecting soon, is I just thought that I would share what I wrote today. Okay, so feel free to make yourself comfortable and close your eyes if you like, and I'll begin. Okay, it's a little bit of a Jesus talk, actually. Take a deep breath in and out. The most precious treasures can only be seen, can only be held, absorbed, embodied, ignited. When I reroute my focus from a forward momentum to here and now. Forward momentum, the speed, it takes all of my energy just to stay upright. The faster I speed forward, the more I miss, because it takes all of my focus to avoid crashing. So there's laws of physics. These are like arrows. They're like signposts. They show me how to be spiritual. These laws are not rigid. They're not stuck. In fact, they show me how to look, to see, to participate, to see that everything is spiritual. Everything is truly miraculous. It's magical if I see. So I used to divide heaven and earth. Not anymore. It's one and the same. See, humans have, from story of the Garden of Eden, the first apple, disconnected from source, from God, from heaven. So our great sin is thinking that we're missing out, that we lack. We're thinking that there is a better state of experience over there, somewhere else. And then we start to suffer. So instead of achieving, we end up suffering more. So then we strive harder, we push harder, and we imagine some other state of existence that we must be missing out on. This is the momentum that has caused the human race to crash and to burn. It's this momentum that has thrown each of us off of our axis. It's thrown us out of alignment. It's this disconnect from whole that has pushed the human race to the brink of extinction, to insanity, chaos, corruption, and many times just, utter misery. So we live in a world where humans and the existing systems have decided what success is. The only way I personally at times can understand how literal geniuses can wreak such a ripple effect of suffering is because they don't see. We're just trying not to crash. We're focused on staying afloat. We're holding on. The problem is also this: laws of physics, laws of nature, the human body, mind, soul, still hold the original spark, miracle, magic of life, of source, of God. This is kind of a problem because we as humans have subdivided. We as humans have tethered ourselves to systems, to a speed, to such intense malnourishment within. Essentially, it's malnourishment. And there is, on various levels, kind of like a baby's cry, decibels from within us, because we're starving for something. We know intuitively something is wrong. Part of, for example, a capitalistic experience, this title of success, which is so revered, so praised, I'm seeing it now as a skewed idea that more is better. This is at the root of the shift of humans and the momentum on this track, this rat race, where the most absurd thing happens. Those that can sufficiently quiet, suppress, numb, ignore this deep cry within become the most successful. This is why I think narcissism has become a part of this scene. And of course, why movies have so much content to work with. Okay, all of the ingredients of heaven, I've got quotes there, are here. So the kingdom of heaven is within each living being, within each cell. It's written in DNA. Just bear with me. See, this striving, this reaching, this rushing, this hunger for something that's out there is only satisfied when we stop reaching for something out there. What are we hungry for? Well, I'm going to name something for me. It's peace. Why we stay craving, hungry, is because striving for more and more and more never satisfies. The epidemic is humans that believe if I just have one more blank, I will be happy. It is the desperation for reaching, the clutching, like the picture of a Black Friday sale. You know, those crazy pictures of people lining up early in the morning for something else. It demonstrates our collective imbalance, and I'm speaking of myself too, a type of insanity. Furthermore, essentially humans then access who behaves worse, whose sin out of this desperation is worse. So we start to judge each other. In this awful desperation, we begin building on this insanity, these systems of discrimination, of self-righteousness, how I'm right, they're wrong. So as I speed along, missing life, signposts, as I strive to stay upright, to look like I'm casually being successful, pretending a lot of the time, I now try to manage this momentum. I'm managing, trying to stay one step ahead of the game. And one thing around this game is a step ahead of deciding what the other person might think about me. So I'm altering myself, guessing what the other person might think then about me. So I'm assuming the other person, what they think of me. Well, in the meantime, all of that energy is going there. I'm numbing, I'm quieting, suppressing this cry of desperation, which is, I'm just going to title it, My Kingdom of Heaven from within calling to me. And it's just getting louder and louder and louder. So then when it gets louder, it takes more energy to quiet, to numb, to run from, to suppress. The more pretending I'm being successful, it's going to take more and more drugs, food, sugar, retail, more. Doesn't matter, we can put in the blank. It's not about the substance. It's about that deep drive, that cry within us. And it just leaves me hungrier for more, craving, until I might become so weighed down that I can't pretend anymore. This facade. See, most of us will think at one point or another, well, at least I don't fill in the blank. But the truth is, we all do. It just looks different. My sin, quotations, just looks different than yours. And that's because my options were different. My privilege was different. I had the ability to choose what I was going to use to numb that cry within. Some people don't quote sin, not because they're good. I was a little mischievous when I was younger. I still might be. But because they're afraid. So just because a person's life isn't full of mistakes or sin, it could just simply be they just didn't have the guts to do anything. So they might be so wrapped up and concerned in what other people think that that's their sin. See what I mean? So this is my dog's trying to get in. I'm almost done. So those of us that are wrapped up in what we are afraid of what other people think end up not doing anything. And we waste our precious life. So whether we do or don't, we're still damned, right? So here's the Jesus part. Jesus, I love the messages of Jesus. He peeled it all back from all the levels. Kind of brought the high down and the low up. And he put humans all on the same plane. Jesus addressed the collective problem. He said that there is a kingdom of heaven, a thirst that all of us have. And he talked about those that were really good at whitewashing. He used like religious leaders that can clean up real nice, but on the inside, they're just like rotting, smelly bones on the inside, like tombs. He addressed inequality, discrimination. He addressed treatment of others. He addressed the less privileged. He was murdered by those in power because he threatened the system that gave them status. His advice was to give away. Just give it away. To be like a child. To drink water that leaves us satisfied. To bless those that curse us. And to give more when someone steals from me. Give them more. He said, don't judge. That's what he said. He said, stop judging. He demonstrated a really big demonstration by upending tables and money in a spiritual place in the temple where people had to pay to be spiritual. Crazy. To pay to be free from sin. He went to the people that were rejected. Leprosy, women that were considered unclean, prostitutes, whatever, name it. That's what we do. We name, we label, we divide, we judge. And he gave them power, the power of life. Those affected by Jesus, this is it. I'm done. You know what? They became free. They became free from the clutch of the system. they didn't care anymore. They stopped wasting their energy trying to become something they're never going to become. And they left, often, like the stories go, healed, with joy, with peace, with this satisfaction, this kingdom within. They couldn't care less what people thought of them. And I love to picture what has caused us to stop dancing, to stop singing, to stop moving, all of that energy that we waste. So this is what I'm thinking about. And I'm going to leave you with this if you've stuck with me this far. Amazing. When Jesus set free, what were they free from? Okay, so that's my little 15-minute musing, 16-minute musing. Yeah, I just wanted to leave that with whoever is interested. And I'm going to continue to share. And yeah, I hope you're well. Thanks for sticking with me. And I'm craving connection. So take care of yourselves and don't be a stranger.